Do you feel like the connection that you have with your parent or other loved one who has dementia is gone? Many caregivers describe the loss of connection as their loved one continues or progresses with dementia. People will say things like, she's a shell of who she was, or she's not the same person she was, or even just the fact that they may not remember us makes it feel like we don't have a connection to them anymore. But in today's video, I want to talk about the fact that we can still make connections no matter what level of dementia somebody might be experiencing. If you feel like you're struggling to have a connection with the person that you're caring for, your aging parent, I want to tell you that although it may not be the same as it was when your parent was cognitively able to do more, but we can still make connections. And those connections, even if they're small moments, can be so worthwhile, especially as we look back on our caregiving journey. There are many ways that we can still have a connection to our loved one who has dementia. And I'm going to go over 3 ways that you can continue to have a connection to your loved one. So much of the time as caregivers, we get caught up in the daily routine and everything that we have to do with and for our loved one. The things I'm going to talk about today won't take any more time, but can allow you to feel better as a caregiver. And based on my experience, I know allows the person with dementia to feel better also. So the first technique in trying to make a connection with someone. So if we think about how we connect with people generally, whether they have dementia or not, think about how you feel a connection. When somebody looks you in the eye, doesn't that make you feel connected? So if we're caregiving and trying to have a meaningful conversation, if we're across the room or in another room, but what we're saying is really important, we want to focus on making eye contact. So that doesn't mean that we always have to be right in front of the person, but think about the things that are really important. Things like trying to encourage your loved one to take a shower, or you're trying to encourage your loved one to eat, or you're trying to encourage your loved one to get dressed. At those times, you're going to have more influence over them if you can make a connection. Being able to have eye contact with them and look them in the eye and have a conversation, hear them out, what their resistance might be. See if you can come up with a plan that might help them to feel like they're having some say in what we're asking them to do. Another way that people feel connection is by human touch. So if it's your parent or another family member, it's sometimes easier than it is for somebody who's non-family. But regardless, as long as the person that we're caring for is not agitated or angry, then holding hands or putting a hand on their arm is a really good way to show that we're connecting with them. And the third way to help our loved one that we're caregiving for to feel connection and for us to feel connection is to have a conversation. So to ask some open-ended questions, not just yes or no questions, not when it's related to care, but maybe something to have a short conversation about what did you like to do when you were a teenager? Or what was your favorite job you had in your life? Or what was your favorite hobby? And then again, do the eye contact while you're doing it, and even hold a hand or hold an arm while you're having this conversation. Those are 3 great strategies for fostering a connection with the person that we're caring for. When we think of it from the caregiver perspective, part of our job is to encourage the person we're caring for to do certain things. Forcing someone to do things can be really difficult. It doesn't feel good when we're forced or when somebody tries to force us to do something. Influencing someone is a much better thing to strive for. And when we can make a connection with someone, it fosters trust. And that trust allows the potential for more influence on that person. Trust is such a huge thing when we're caring for somebody with dementia. And I often think about it like this. I imagine that I'm starting to lose some of my cognitive function. And I can imagine how scary that would be. If I have someone who I'm able to even talk about those things to, but even if I can't, if I have someone who appears to be listening to me, who appears to be wanting to connect with me, who appears to be wanting to hear what I have to say. I am going to trust that person more, and might actually help me to feel less fear because I trust this person. Short story, I've talked about this often, but I was the primary caregiver for my 99-year-old uncle. When I first had to start becoming the caregiver, we had a conversation about the things that we were noticing as a family, but we had a very connected conversation. I asked him about trusting me, about what he'd want, that he could rely on me as he's losing some of his memory and things like that. Having this conversation, even as his dementia progressed, I would repeat this conversation every once in a while when something came up, like a period of time where maybe he was accusing caregivers of stealing money, or he was having some PTSD from being in the war. We repeated this conversation through the next 2.5 years that I was his caregiver. And at some level, regardless of as his dementia was progressing, I could see in those moments that there was a connection. Those are the moments, as I look back now, that I feel so thankful for. These are the memories that I carry around with me and will for the rest of my life. Not the frustrations. Those aren't the things that remind me of who he was or my role as his caregiver. It's the moments of connection I will carry with me for the rest of my life. So hopefully today's video was helpful. Remember, we can still have connection. We can still hold their hand. We can still look them in the eye. We can still touch their arm. And those things matter more than any of the frustration, I think, that happens every day as we're caregivers. And those are the things that I think are going to mean the most to us after our caregiving is done. Thanks for watching today's video. Please like and share this with anybody that you think might find value in it. Subscribe to my channel. Add any comments in the comment section below, including any subjects for future videos that I might be able to do. Thanks.